The Ottoman Empire conquered many regions in a decisive fashion. However, their invasion of the Balkans was met with stiff resistance. The peoples of this region fought the intruders for almost 200 years and defied their rule long after that. The bloody Battle of Kosovo in 1389 exemplifies this struggle. The Seljuk invasion, followed by the Crusades, completely changed the balance of power in the Middle East. Anatolia was fractured beyond anything seen before. The ethnic and religious makeup of Asia Minor changed as more Turkic tribes moved in. The Mongol invasion of the Middle East started in the 13th century. In 1241 they made their first foray into Anatolia, and in 1243 decisively defeated armies of the Seljuk Sultanate of Rum near modern-day Servos. The Sultanate became a vassal of the Mongols, and a Byzantine successor state, the Empire of Nicaea, used that respite effectively. By 1261, the Greeks restored the Byzantine Empire in the northwestern part of Anatolia and central Balkans. The Mongols pushed more Turkic tribes out of Central Asia and the Iranian plateau towards Anatolia. By 1299, the leader of one of these tribes, Osman, was granted a small piece of land along the Byzantine border for his military service to the Seljuks. In 1302, he defeated a Byzantine army near Nicaea. Then, Osman used the dissolution of the Sultanate in 1308 to gain independence. Like other Beylik leaders, he cared for the usual tribal infighting. Osman and his descendants practiced a version of Islam that was stricter. His son Orhan took the Byzantine city of Prusa, the modern-day Bursa, and moved his capital there. Ottomans took their first city in Europe in 1354. In the next decade, Adrianople, Plovdiv and Komotini were all conquered, and the new leader Murad I moved the Ottoman capital to Adrianople, modern-day Edirne. To the west of their new holdings, the mighty Serbian Empire was ready to defend itself. In 1371, King Vukašin drove them out of Europe. Lazar, alongside many other local feudal lords, pushed the Ottomans out of southern Serbia. This victory increased Prince Lazar's authority, and he managed to form a broad alliance consisting of Serbs, Bulgars, Bosnians and Albans. Bohemian and Hungarian aristocrats joined his army. Murad, alongside his sons Bayezid and Jakub, moved towards Pristina in the June of 1389. Prince Lazar and his troops would be waiting for them on the Kosovo, the fields of the Blackbirds. Murad had continued in the footsteps of his father and grandfather, expanding his regular army, have a significant number of light cavalry, called akinci. They were armed with composite bows, axes, and maces. The regular cavalry, called sipahi, were a somewhat heavier horsemen with lances and bows. The irregular infantry was represented by azabs, who carried bows, polearms, or halberds. Ottoman sultans started a practice of using personal slaves from Christian peoples to form their janissary troops. They also were armed with various weapons. Janissaries served as the Sultan's guard and had both cavalry and infantry units. The Ottomans also had early cannons in their service. Altogether, Murad had 50,000 troops in this battle. On the other hand, the Serbs had a truly European army. Most of their cavalry was heavy, with a handful of light hussars in support. Serb infantry used both bows and melee weapons according to the situation. Prince Lazar had brought 30,000 warriors with him. Mountains surround the field of Kosovo to the west and east. Prince Lazar knew that he would not be able to contain the Ottomans in the open plains to the north. The terrain would prevent his enemies from using their superior numbers. The prince commanded the centre with 15,000 troops, with cavalry in the first line and infantry in the second. The left was led by Vlatko Vukovic, while the right was under the command of a local aristocrat, Vuk Brankovic. Both had around 7,000 warriors. On the opposite side, Murad stayed in the centre with 20,000 of his regular troops, while Jakub commanded 15,000 Anatolian warriors on the left, and Bayezid was on the right with the same numbers again. The Ottoman front line consisted of archers, who had dug a small protective trench and reinforced it with stakes. Most of the artillery was in the centre for both armies. The battle began on the morning of June 15th with a volley from the Serb cannons. Ottoman cannons weren't effective, and their archers were ordered forward. Lazar responded by ordering his cavalry forward. The attack was successful. The Serbs pushed the enemy all the way back to their camp. However, Bayezid on the Ottoman right was pushing back the Serbian left after difficulty. Lazar had the initiative and Murad panicked. This moment of the battle, Vuk Brankovic left the field with most of the troops under his command. He was a traitor and had an arrangement with the Ottomans to abandon the battle. That freed up the Ottoman left, which pushed forward and attacked the Serb center from the flank. The Serbian left slowly retreated, and soon their whole army was surrounded. Two events happened simultaneously at this point in the battle. First, Murad sent the majority of his troops forward to finish off the enemy. A group of Serb knights break the line of his bodyguards and assassinate the Sultan. 11 knights sacrificed themselves to allow their comrade, Milos Obilic, to strike the enemy leader, who was killed on the spot. On another side of the battlefield, Prince Lazar died fighting. Both Lazar and Milos are venerated as saints by the church.